Let's talk about the future of fashion. And I'm not talking about what's on the runway. I'm talking about what's on your avatar. We're diving deep into how we're going to dress our digital selves for the metaverse, and the amazing AI that's finally making it possible for literally everyone to have their own unique style.
Okay, just take a look at this. I mean, the way that dress flows, the way it moves with the avatar, it looks so real. But think about this. How on earth do you create something this detailed, not just once, but for millions and millions of unique users, each with their own body shape, their own style? And that is the central problem, right? You can't just manually design a custom digital wardrobe for every single person. I mean, it's just not possible. It would take a whole army of artists basically forever. So how do you solve this massive, massive scaling problem?
Well, to really understand the solution, we first need to get a handle on why the old ways of doing things, the old ways of creating digital clothing, just won't cut it for the future that we're all trying to build.
So for the longest time, you basically had two options. On one hand, you could hire a professional 3D artist, and they would do incredible work for sure, but it's super slow and really expensive. On the other hand, you had these early automated methods, but as you're about to see, they just weren't ready for prime time, not even close.
Right, so here's the real kicker. These older methods failed because they just didn't get the structure of clothing. They would spit out these sort of blob-like shapes that were full of errors and were often completely sealed shut. You can't really put an arm through a sleeve that doesn't have a hole. All that messy geometry is totally useless for the kind of realistic animation that we're all after.
So this is where a totally new approach was needed. Instead of just trying to copy a 3D shape, a new system had to learn to think like a tailor. Let's check out how they pulled it off.
And this is the core light bulb moment idea. What if you could build a system that doesn't just see a dress on a person, but actually understands how to cut and sew the flat pieces of fabric to recreate it? A system that can literally fix its own mistakes over and over until the fit is absolutely perfect.
The secret sauce that makes this all happen is called differentiable simulation. Now, a normal simulator only goes one way. You give it a pattern, it drapes the cloth. Simple. But a differentiable one, it can work backwards. It can see the final result, compare it to the goal, and in an instant, calculate the exact changes it needs to make to that original pattern to get it right. It's basically an autopilot for design.
And this visual just perfectly illustrates that fundamental idea. Every single piece of clothing, doesn't matter if it's real or digital, starts out as a bunch of flat 2D patterns. That's the secret language of fashion, and it's a language that Diff Avatar learned to speak. By tweaking these 2D patterns, it gets incredibly precise control over the final 3D fit.
Okay, so we've got the concept down. Now let's walk through the actual step-by-step process. How does the Diff Avatar pipeline take a simple 3D scan of a person and magically turn it into a high-quality, animation-ready piece of digital clothing?
So it all starts with a real-world 3D scan, which, is usually a little bit messy and imperfect. The system then takes a basic template, think of it like a generic dress pattern, and just drapes it over an initial guess of the person's body. And then, here comes the magic. The optimization loop kicks in. The simulator compares its draped template to the scan, sees where it's wrong, and then automatically adjusts that 2D pattern again and again and again until it gets a perfect match.
The theory sounds fantastic, but does it actually work? I mean, really work? Let's look at the results and see how Diff Avatar actually stacks up against both a human artist and those older AI methods.
All right, so here on the left, we've got a garment made by a skilled professional artist. That's our gold standard. Now look at the one made by Diff Avatar on the right. The quality is, well, it's astonishingly close. It captures the same style, the same fit, the same feel, but it does it all without the countless hours of manual work.
Okay, now let's compare it to one of those previous automated methods. This one's called POP, and the difference is night and day. The old method gives you this lumpy, undefined blob that doesn't even have armholes, but Diff Avatar, on the other hand, creates a clean, structurally correct garment that actually looks like clothes.
And if we peek under the hood and look at the actual geometry, what we call the mesh, the story gets even clearer. For a good simulation, you need a clean, orderly mesh, just like the one you see from Diff Avatar. The messy, distorted triangles from other methods, they'd make any physics engine just completely freak out. This clean structure is what makes the clothing actually ready for realistic animation.
And hey, the numbers totally back this up. We're looking at two key things here. Chamfer distance, that measures accuracy, how close the shape is to the goal, so lower is better, and mesh quality tells us how good the geometry is for simulation, so there, higher is better.
As you can see, Div Avatar gets incredibly close to the artist quality, and it just blows the previous methods out of the water, especially on mesh quality, where the others literally score a 0.
So what does all this mean? This isn't just some cool tech demo. It's a key that's about to unlock the future of our digital lives.
I mean, look at this. This isn't just a pretty picture. It's not a statue. This is a fully functional digital asset. This dress can be put on any avatar that's compatible. It'll react to movement with realistic physics, and it becomes the foundation for a truly personal digital wardrobe.
The applications here are huge. Imagine scanning any piece of clothing you love and bringing it right into a video game, or using this for virtual try-on so you can see exactly how an outfit would fit your body shape without ever leaving the house. But ultimately, this is all about self-expression, about building a digital identity that is authentically, truly you.
And really, that's the big takeaway. Technologies like Diff Avatar are completely breaking down the barriers between our physical and our virtual worlds. They're giving us the tools to build a digital reflection of ourselves that is more personal, more dynamic, and more expressive than ever before. So the real question is, what will you create?